cultural backgrounds and even languages in some areas with Zimbabweans. And this has developed to grow relations not only culturally or not only with family ties. We've seen trade relations between Botswana and Zimbabwe growing. Exchange in education, exchange in transfer of skills and development in general. So we can say that Botswana and Zimbabwe have come a long way together, working shoulder to shoulder, making sure that when one develops, the other benefits.
All right.
Yes.
That's incredible. Yes. As you've already mentioned, Zimbabwe has been the breadbasket of the whole region.
Yes.
We have seen the economic downfall, though, of Zimbabwe for the past few years. What has been, the relations since then? As we've already said, we have seen many factories being developed in Zimbabwe. We've been transferring skills. We've been sharing. When the other country is developing, the other one is also benefiting. But since the economic downfall of Zimbabwe, we understand the status of economy in that country. How has the relationship been until now?
Yes, you can remember that Reulibile, right from the beginning, when Zimbabwe, not only Zimbabwe alone, when the surrounding countries, neighboring countries to Botswana, were in the liberation struggles. Botswana has been the only country that was independent, and we were enjoying that independence. And we have seen Zimbabwe being our neighbor that we are land-linked with, going down in economy. The political space was not very stable. And because of Botswana's interest in seeing her neighbors being liberated, developing. Botswana has always had that characteristic of being very friendly, mutual respect, and general neighborliness to her neighbors. Botswana did not tend to isolate Zimbabwe. We have been working, hand in hand, even during the time of the economy going down. We've seen Zimbabwe ending up with sanctions. Our president, our leadership, I will talk about the current leadership mostly. That His Excellency the President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Eric Masisi, has been very vocal about the sanctions of Zimbabwe, or the sanctions in Zimbabwe, having to be lifted up. He has spoke publicly in forums that we have shared with Zimbabwe, forums like the Binational Commission between Botswana and Zimbabwe when it was the first inaugurated. He has spoken at the General Assembly. He has spoken in different forums that there is need for sanctions to be lifted in Zimbabwe, and that is the reason. The reason being that the economy that is next to you, when it goes down, you are affected.
You're also affected.
Yes, the economy that is next to you, when it goes up or increasing, you are also affected in one way or another. So the challenges that Zimbabwe was facing, they were spilling over into the neighboring countries, and Botswana, of course, being one of them. But I want to congratulate our government that within all these situations that our neighboring countries have been facing, Botswana has been very, very instrumental in making sure that their challenges are not just isolated to themselves. We have worked as a region. We have worked as a member of the SADC. We have worked together as a member of AU. We have worked together with these countries as a collective membership to the UN and other non-aligned countries.
All right.
Yes.
Now let's go back a little bit. Botswana played a very crucial role, as we have already mentioned, in the liberation struggle of SADC states, not only Zimbabwe.
Yes.
But today we are focusing specifically on Zimbabwe, formerly known as Rhodesia, as is the case. What sort of support did Botswana render to Zimbabwe during this period of strife?
During the struggle, how no ka gakologola sentle ebile o ka re ka bo go teke ya raba ka Setswana gore nako ya rona ga re ne re ntse re tshwere boipuso bo Zimbabwe bo Namibia by the time ba ne ba bidiwa Northwest Africa bo Mozambique bo Angola ba ne ba struggle go leka go nna le boipuso rra Botswana o na a tsenya letsogo le ntsi ka go leka gone go thusa mahatsi le ha re ne re sa tshwara dibetsa rra. I think the president has said it time and again that rona re ne re sa rwale dibetsa mme re ne re thusa mahatsi ya batho ba ba neng ba tswa ko bo Zimbabwe rra ba tlola diterata ile ba lwela kgolesego ba bangwe ba ne ba sia ba bangwe ba ne ba ko mahatsheng a mangwe go a go ithuta maretshwa a kgolesego kana ntwa re ne re ha batho ba bonno. We have had leaders. I'll give an example of the vice president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. He was once staying in Francistown. So re ne re ba ha bonno, re ne re ba ha dijo, re ne re ba rulaganyetsa behind the scenes. Ditsela tsa gore ba ka tswelela jang ba ya ko mahelong a ileng gore ba their destination where they were going for training and other processes saying that they were related to Zimbabwe. So we can say we've greatly contributed, and that only needs wisdom. It only needs good governance. If we did not have good governance in our country prevailing, I don't think we would have managed. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That is incredible that Botswana has been the safe haven, not only for Zimbabwe, but as this place where people could come and, stay. And Francistown most of the times comes forth. Many times we've seen the late president of Namibia also, he was staying in Francistown during the fighting periods. But Botswana remains a shining democracy in Africa. We all know that. What can African states learn from this Botswana's exemplary democracy and good governance you've already mentioned?
Yes, you will call it democracy, but I'll call it our culture.
All right.
Because Botswana naturally are people who they don't keep things close to their chest, if I may use that phrase. In anything that we do, hona le morero. Re bona the structure sa rona sa Botswana, right from the high level. We have the three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the
legislature.
The legislation, legislature. And matsogo a rra a dira mmogo ba molao ba gakolana le ba tlhomang the policies le ba ileng gore they are administering the country. Ga re hologela ko tlase re ya ko bogosing ra go itlhala gore our culture ya Setswana, it says sepe se ileng gore sa dirwa mo morafeng go se tshwantse gore a re re le morafe. So Botswana has been a very good shining example of democracy, and I'm happy that we are still holding on to that. We have not run away with the so-called modernization and maybe find ourselves being entrenched into democratic ways of governance. And I believe that it is because of this good governance, this democracy, that we have been able to be a shelter, or you have been able to be some helping hand to our neighboring countries.
That's incredible. If you've just joined us, remember that we're in conversation here with Botswana's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Ms. Sarah Molosiwa, talking about the relations between Botswana and Zimbabwe from way back until right now, and going forward, what is it that ought to be done? Now, going forward, there were challenges, I believe. There were challenges during those times, all the way until right now. What are those challenges that Botswana did face during these hard times by, accommodating other, and other countries coming in here?
If we remember well, there's a time South Africans. I can't remember that year very well. But I remember that the South Africans once intruded into our country, simply because the those who were practicing apartheid in that country, they felt that Botswana was harboring some people from South Africa. So Botswana has been having giving a very helping hand to all these countries.
That means we also have to suffer from some of those who thought Botswana is now against what they were doing at that time.
Yes.
Right. Now, we are towards the end of our conversation, but how are the relations now between Botswana and Zimbabwe, trade-wise and bilateral? We've seen Zimbabwe introducing ZiG currency, of which it has been praised in different countries to say that the currency is doing well thus far. How is the relations in terms of
the relations of trade between Botswana and Zimbabwe are across all sectors. Right now, as I speak to you, we have a delegation in Botswana that has come from Zimbabwe within the agricultural sector, that has come to, as a fact-finding mission to find out the opportunities of extending their operations into Botswana. And last February, we had the first mission of the Zimbabweans who also came, very big corporations, Zabo Sepsi and other corporations who came into Botswana through the facilitation of the Botswana embassy, who were coming to also find ways in which they can be able to extend their operations into Botswana. So that is a very important thing that shows that the relations between the two countries are at rest, they are peaceful, and they are meant to be progressive. Let's just take as an example whereby maybe this country was not in good books with Zimbabwe. We wouldn't be having big corporations in Zimbabwe saying we are extending ourselves to Botswana. I want to give an example here, those that are already on the ground. Kanale example here, Sitco, Kidumela Rotle Rais, agriculture, Relebali, that is a Zimbabwean company that has long come into Botswana, opened a branch, by virtue of extending their operations, and now it has thrived and it's even spread into the whole region. So we are in this mindset change and transformation agenda. We want to see the relations of trade and businesses between Botswana and Zimbabwe growing and even spreading to the whole region. Remember, I believe that maybe you might have aired it in Botswana TV. When I was presenting my credentials in Zimbabwe to His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, I had an interview after that, and I was very clear that I would like to see Botswana and Zimbabwe being investment and trade centers of the region, and I still maintain that. That is why I'm saying we had a first mission in February, and we are having the other one on the ground, and we are going to continue finding ways in which we can find, we can improve or find opportunities for both Botswana and Zimbabwe. There is a lot to be that we can tap from Zimbabwe. It's not only about trade, exchange programs, transfer of skills. We've had our First Lady last time, not very long, having gone to benchmark from her counterpart. And we took her to the rural areas. Basadi ba empower, and she was really impressed. I'm looking forward as the ambassador who was facilitating that, to see Basadi Mohai very soon launching programs saying we have copied from Zimbabwe. Programs saying even if you are a mother, you will be earning something. They are sole providers. I don't mean that we're going to provide, but mother has to see that school, so we have a lot that we still have to share with Zimbabwe.
That's incredible. You said something interesting, this country we are spearheaded. We have seen the president also spearheaded the issue of mindset change.
Yes.
The relations between these two countries can only be grown or be beneficial for both countries if we all have to change the way we've been thinking, the way we are doing things.
Yes.
Maybe speak to that.
We have to change the way we've been doing things and the way we've been thinking. all along, you know, are the only people who can be able to do things for ourselves. It's high time that we stand up as Botswana and look around ourselves, see in every area, right from the grassroots level, what is it that we can do to change the status quo? What is it that you can do to bring in independence, not independence halakamulu? What is it that you can do in the rural areas that can bring maybe rural industrialization as a member of the community in that area? What is it that you can do that can bring invention? We need to see schools, the innovation hubs, the producer graduates that are going to be, you know, business people, powerful contributors to the economic growth within our country.
All right.
So that is the mindset change that we are following behind our principles.
All right. Now, Molosiwa, we are wrapping up our conversation in 60 seconds. Just tell us what the future looks like between us and Zimbabwe.
Hey, the future of Botswana and Zimbabwe, I wish we could look at it from the same vein. I'm going to take you back. I know you are saying it's time up. I'm going to take you back to this, the recognition that Zimbabwe has just given to Botswana, that we are listed among the countries that have contributed to the liberation struggle of Botswana, of Zimbabwe. I see this giving birth to so many things almost in every sector. Let's just take, if we were to celebrate the recognition, it means that Botswana in the rural areas, Botswana along the borderline villages has got to be reached out to. Bane ba diraeng ba contribute ja ke dumela santse rena le manoto a basadi ba golele bana ba golo who can tell us bane ba le hatla se ga dinoka kana you'll find that in some areas how ya ko matselo jeko for I'll give it as an example ke noka go bo gore Botswana be gore ka ka gona kwa bo gore Zimbabwe how were they contributing? I think we have got a rich history that has to be packaged very well, and we can be able to tell our history to even to the whole world.
The whole world, yeah.
Yes, and the tourism is going to grow, and we can even come up with the heritage centers right from Kole Somakwa. We have to be unveiling that history. We have to. Who are they? What is their identity? How do they relate with other neighboring countries?
All right, Molosiwa, unfortunately we've run clean of time. I think we could have, had more time to delve much into this, because I can understand that there's a lot that we ought to learn and not to forget, and archiving and also putting it for the coming generations. They've already mentioned. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Right. And that is where we have to end our conversation right now. I had in studio with me Botswana's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Ms. Sarah Molosiwa. We are talking about the relations between Botswana and Zimbabwe, and how we are benefiting and how we can benefit going forward in terms of the relations, in terms of trade and everything that we're doing between these two countries. Don't move. I'm coming right back after this.